Hi there! Today I'm going to talk about the whole tone scale. Well, the whole tone scale is a scale in which all notes are exactly a whole step or a whole tone apart from each other. The result is a 6-tone scale, which we call a hexatonic scale. Hexa means 6. Now, if we start the whole tone scale on the note C, we'll see that this hexatonic scale contains the following notes: C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp and A sharp. The whole tone scale can be used in different situations, but its use is with no doubt a platitude and even a cliché in film score music. The scale has an ambiguous, blurred and indistinct character, making it very suitable for non-defined moods and dreamy sequences. Now, not only in film music the scale is used a lot, but also in other styles and even occasionally in pop music you'll find at least traces of this scale. So, hop on and enjoy the ride. Now, when the whole tone scale started to gain popularity in the beginning of the 20th century, composers knew that this scale was not at all like any other scale. The major scale and many other scales they've used could be transposed to another key, which led to a substantial variation in sound. The C major scale could be transposed to the D major scale, creating another set of notes, and D major could be transposed to E major, which again created a new set of notes. And that is what a circle of fifths shows us, right? Now, when transposing the C whole tone scale to the D whole tone scale, we'll end up with exactly the same set of notes. And when transposing it, for instance, to the E whole tone scale, we'll end up with the same set of notes again. Only when transposing the whole tone scale to a note that is a semitone higher or lower, the set of notes completely changes. So it was clear that the transpositions were severely limited. And that is why the whole tone scale is also called the scale of limited transposition. So the conclusion was that there were only 2 whole tone scales. So we have a C whole tone scale and a D flat whole tone scale. Because you can't find a single semitone in this scale, every note is as important as the other. So it has no gravity towards a certain tonic or any other member of the scale for that matter. So you can start the scale on any member of the scale and create the exact same sound. And that is remarkable, to say the least. Now, if we build triads on all 6 notes of the hexatonic whole tone scale, we get 6 augmented chords. Well, that's a serious amount of tension. And if you extend the chord with the 7th degree, which is a minor in this scale, you'll find yourself playing a stack of dominant augmented 7 chords. Now, these dominant 7 sharp 5 chords are all considered to be altered chords, by the way. So you see, there's not much harmony in this scale. Every chord is dissonant and none of them has a resolution within the scale because of the lack of semitones. Still, the scale was immensely popular with composers from the Impressionist era, like Debussy and Ravel create a vague, ambiguous sound. Film composers tried to get something from this scale too, and so it became the scale that was overly used in Hollywood. Every back-in-time flash or dreamy scene was done with this scale at the time. Also, very eerie scenes were provided with 2 augmented chords played at the same time, for instance, like D augmented over C augmented. And this creates a rather unsettling mood. beautiful sound, of course, but it also became a cliché. The scale was the solution for composers with a writer's block. If one didn't know what to do, they fell back on this whole tone scale at that time. So now let's see what we can do with the scale related to other styles of playing. Now in the next part of this video we are going to apply the scale in different ways. You will see that this scale can be used in improvisations, but also in chordal movements, which is a very interesting way of using this scale and create some lovely sounds. So now let's see what we can do with the scale related to other styles of playing. Now because the whole tone scale produces 6 augmented chords, one on each note of the scale, it's quite obvious that the scale is suited for playing over any sharp 5 chord. So if we look for instance at the G7 sharp 5 chord, we'll see that the chord is built from the root G, the major 3rd B, the augmented 5th D sharp and the minor 7th F. Now the whole tone scale starting on the note G contains the notes G, A, B, C sharp, D sharp and F. Now you don't need to be a rocket scientist to notice that all the notes in the G7 sharp 5 chord are in the G whole tone scale. So yes, of course, the whole tone scale will work like a charm. But the dominant sharp 5 chord is sparse, especially when you're not playing that much jazz. So let's move on to other possibilities for this beautiful whole tone scale. Now, using the whole tone scale over a minor chord can create a nice outside sound. Like with all outside concepts, you should take care of a resolution though. Otherwise the outside sound will become an awkward sounding sound. The resolution can take place in the form of a chord note of the landing chord. Now analyzing this A minor major 7 chord shows us that the chord consists of the root note A, the minor 3rd C, the perfect 5th E and the major 7th G sharp. Now the top 3 notes of this chord form a C augmented triad. So this makes it possible to do some interesting things with the C whole tone scale because the chord on the 1st degree of the C whole tone scale is an augmented chord. Now first of all, it's nice to know that the augmented chords can be repeated every major 3rd. Now what you get by doing this are inversions of the same chord. G sharp C E is an inversion of E G sharp C, which is an inversion of C, E, G sharp. Now if you fill the gaps in an even span and even spaced manner, we are using the notes of the whole tone scale. So this could be an approach to improvising. Just use these position shifts of these augmented triads and resolve them to a note of the A minor chord like this. Now of course you can also use the C whole tone scale over an A minor major 7 chord instead of triads that come from this scale. So merely playing the scale works fine too, like this. Now you don't need to play the whole tone scale over a minor major 7 chord. Even over a plain minor chord, minor 7 chord for instance, the C augmented scale works fine too, for a great outside sound. Now just don't forget to resolve the created outside sound to a note of the A minor chord. Now, if we look at the E whole tone scale, we'll find an E9 sharp 11 arpeggio, although the perfect fifth is not in here. So over a dominant chord, we can play a whole tone scale with a beautiful tension note, like for instance the sharp 11. An easy trick to find quickly a whole tone pattern: you could take a 7 chord with the root on the 5th string in the 5th position and play a dominant 9 sharp 11 shape that starts on the 4th string in position 6. The notes in this shape all come from the E whole tone scale, so you can move this shape up and down the neck every major second and still play notes from the whole tone scale. Now add a major second to every note and you'll find yourself playing a fusion-like whole tone lick on a plain dominant 7 chord. Now, a very well-known example of the use of the whole tone scale is the song "You Are the Sunshine of My Life." Now, in this case, Stevie Wonder uses a sequence of intervals. By the way, if you're interested in the analysis of Stevie Wonder's songs, I strongly suggest you check out the Jazz Duets channel for its authority on Stevie Wonder's music. Now, the song starts on a B chord, which is the key the song is written in. In the second bar, Stevie Wonder uses the F-sharp whole tone scale in intervals over an F-sharp bass. That implies an F-sharp dominant chord in the key of B major. This is an interesting approach and creates a lovely dreamy effect. The sharp 4 or sharp 11 and the sharp 5 in the scale, played over an F sharp 7 chord, are beautiful tension notes. It sounds something like this. Now, another example of the way Stevie Wonder uses the scale in the song Too High, where he drops major 7 flat 5 chords over an E pedal bass in whole tones to end on an E7 sharp 9 chord that resolves to the A minor 9 chord, which is the key of the song. Now, this sounds amazing and something like this. And the last example of combining chords and intervals with the whole tone scale is the song Elektrik by King Crimson, where Robert Fripp is using large interval and chord shapes in a 7/8 meter. Now, the odd time signature intensifies the alien soundscape that is created by this whole tone scale. Now, the whole tone scale is an awkward scale, but when used in a certain way it can be a great asset for composing as well as improvising. Now, I hope I have given you a new tool, or maybe an old one that can be restored in function, that can boost your sound and musical personality. I would say just go for it. I hope this was a crystal clear explanation of the whole tone skill. I'd like to see you next time in a new QJamTracks tutorial. For now, greets from the Netherlands. Bye.